What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. If you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you can get your podcasts. When you're done with that, tell a friend, spread the word, help grow this garden. We very much appreciate it. Today's positive, motivational message is, can't we all just get along? In today's political climate, especially right now with so much craziness going on, it feels like so many friends and family members are just at each other's throat with disagreement. And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have different opinions and different points of view. But if you're going to have these discussions, you have to do it civilly. You want to be able to walk away from the table and still be friends. Yes, you may disagree, and you may not change each other's minds or opinions, but you might be able to shed some light on your perspective, and that's good. It's good to have open dialogue and rational conversations. But the second it goes into name calling, bad blood in general, or if you're just completely disagreeing and it becomes hateful towards one another, you're going to destroy that relationship. And is any of that worth it? This could go further than politics too. I'm not just speaking politically. You could be talking about sports arguments. You could be talking about, any disagreement that you're going to have. You want to have an open dialogue. You want to be able to be accepting of what they're saying and be received on the other end for what you're saying. Once we cross that line into hate or into name calling and breaking that bond, it seems so pointless. It seems so frivolous of a thing to break up a relationship over. Have open dialogue. Have true and honest discussions. Be receptive to one another. And then we can all just get along. With that, we'll go ahead and get into today's episode. It's episode 256 of Life's a Garden. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. Thank you so much for stopping by, tuning in. Very much appreciate. Hopefully we can entertain you on this lovely Monday. Cheers, everybody. Drinking a little LaCroix. No booze this morning. It's a little early. I actually got out of bed. Felt great. Got great sleep. I apologize if I'm a little stuffed up sounding. In the mornings lately, I've just been, I don't know if it's seasonal allergies, what the hell it is. I can sleep throughout the night, completely clear. I wake up and it just plugs right up. We've been getting good rain the last couple of days. I don't know what the hell. Climate, the way the atmospheric air or whatever it is that makes my fucking nose decide it's going to just run or it's going to plug or whatever. I can't control it. I apologize if there's any sniffling or if I'm sounding all clogged up here. But it's part of life, my guys. It's part of life. Did have a fun weekend. Fun-filled weekend. Went to the Pride Parade on Saturday. Which, honestly, I was not even... I was unaware it was even happening. I was just going downtown per my usual Saturday hangout downtown. And actually, the reason I was going down was there was some UFC fights on that I wanted to watch. I did not realize that they started at 1 o'clock because they're fighting overseas, and so the time difference. So I was getting ready to go downtown. I'm like noticing all these streets are blocked off. And they've been doing a little bit of construction down there, so I figured, okay, that's what that is. But as I'm driving down, there's more and more barricades. I'm like, what the hell? Why would they block off this many city blocks? And I'm like, there had to have been a parade, right? And I'm thinking, it's too early for a 4th of July parade, and we don't even do one of those here. So I'm just completely confused. Driving down, see all of Broadway is blocked off. So now I'm thinking, farmer's market? It's a little early for farmer's market, too. Usually that starts in, like, middle of July. And, of course, the closer I get, the more colorful it was getting. A lot of rainbows. And, obviously, then it dawned on me, Pride Parade. Okay, I got it. Makes sense. I just wasn't aware that it was happening. I didn't see any advertisement for it. Nothing was popping up on my Facebook feed. I never even heard anybody discuss it downtown at the bar or anywhere. So I had no clue. Surprisingly, found a great parking spot. So I just went over to the Crystal. I'm hanging out. There's a bunch of people hanging out. A bunch of people I know. Everybody's having a good time. So yeah, I'm like, I fully support LGBTQ. So I joined the festivities, walked around, listened to some music. It was a lot of interesting characters out for sure. It is kind of interesting to me how, like, with the Pride Parade, it's just like a free for all to wear scandally clad. Is that a decent term? Just very revealing clothing options. It's inviting for that, and so that was interesting. Here I am just wearing my regular Saturday clothes, and I feel very overdressed. But no, it was all in good fun. Like everybody was having a good time. Great food vendors out. They really went all out for this event, and kudos to the city of Billings for putting that on. And I don't disparage communities that are willing to support one another, and I love it. It's great. It honestly upsets me that if anybody were to have an issue with it, right? And this is where I come into the whole, can't we all just get along? I was hanging out. It was great. I was hanging out at the Pride Parade with people I know are conservative, and they're having a good time as well. Everybody's getting along. You might not agree with everything that's within a certain. Okay, it's pretty well established that the LGBTQ community is very left wing. So everybody around you has different opinions than what you have. But you're able to be there and support and enjoy the fun with everybody. And, we had friends there that were very left leaning that we're all hanging out together. We're a huge community. And that's what it's all about, right? Just being able to be around one another and support one another, no matter how different you are. It's great. So, again, I was not even planning on going. I wasn't aware that it was happening. But I was all about it. I had no issue with it. I was actually... It was better than what I was probably going to be doing, because the fights actually sucked. And they didn't even have them on, so it didn't matter. So if I would have gone down, I would have really had nothing to do. So it was great. It was a great surprise. And then later that night, me and my buddy Jared went to see Brad Williams, comedian, at the Alberta Bear. Hilarious. His openers were great. He was awesome. If you don't know Brad Williams, he's a little person, but he's fucking hilarious. And I've heard him on podcasts before, and I've heard many comics say how funny Brad is. And once you see it in person, you totally understand. He was incredible. Had an option to meet him. I would have actually loved to, but my friends wanted to leave, which I was fine with because it was going to be a huge line. I love that he gave the opportunity to meet people. Now, let me tell you something about Brad Williams that I absolutely love. He is a very out and about he is a very open Broncos fan. He is considered one of the top, celebrity Broncos fans. He was at the draft this year. I think he might have announced a pick. I can't remember. I know he was sitting in the fan section. He's been to several Broncos games. In fact, I think I've been to a couple games that he was at. So I love that he's a Broncos guy. And you don't see that a lot, really. You don't see a lot of big name celebrities that are, supporting the blue and the orange. So that's just an extra thing. And now that I know just how funny he is, because I've heard, it's different when you listen to guys on podcasts versus their stage performance. Sometimes they're funny on both. Sometimes they're funny on one or the other. Brad's great on both. But the podcasting does not reflect just how great he is at his craft of stand-up. So, had a great time with that. Shout out to Jared. He hooked me up with a free ticket. I bought him some beers and stuff, so we evened it out a little bit. And I called it an early night last night. I was just ready to get home and get to bed, which is why I'm up and at 'em today, doing, feeling great, which is awesome. You know how awesome it is to not be hungover on a Sunday? Any weekend day, honestly, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, on a Monday, dude, I've had plenty of shitty Mondays where I was not feeling my best because we had a little too much fun on a Sunday. But today I feel good, and I love that. I love getting good sleep. For whatever reason, actually, and it's not for whatever reason, I actually know the reason. I cannot sleep on a Monday night, on a Sunday night. From Sunday to Monday, knowing I have to get up for work, knowing my alarm is going to go off, I cannot get good sleep. Because it's like a stress thing. Knowing I have to be up for something to do in the morning, and I can't just lounge around, I have to get up. It's such an amazing feeling to lay in bed and not care what time you wake up. I don't want to sleep till noon. But if I can sleep till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, fuck yes. Or not even have to, if I'm waking up in bed and don't have this dreadful feeling of, oh my God, I have to check my phone to see what time it is. If I'm still tired and I just want to keep laying here and sleep, that is the greatest feeling ever. But when you do have to hit that alarm, when you are looking at that alarm or, stopping the alarm and looking at the clock, it's fuck. I think for me, I'm always worried I'm going to, miss my alarm, which is stupid because I never have. And I have, multiple that go off, so there's no way I'm going to miss it. But good sleep is top tier. It is top tier feelings. It's just getting good sleep. Also last night, because I was calling it an early night, I hadn't eaten yet. I was going to eat before the, we ate at the Pride Fest. Or is it Pride Festival? Pride Parade? We ate there. They had some good food trucks out there. But that was early. I was going to eat before the comedy show. And then by the time the show... But we didn't. And then by the time the show got out, nobody was serving food anymore. So I was like, you know what? It's going to be fast food tonight. I didn't want to do fast food, but that's kind of was my only option. And because I was calling it early night, I didn't feel like the need to stop by any of the places close to my work or close to my house. And I just had a wild hankering for some Burger King. I used to have a Burger King right by my house, and I loved going to it, especially that one because it was newer. It had the newer equipment. The food was just better, I feel like. Where, you get these older restaurants and the equipment sucks, so you're not getting, high-quality food. You're not getting high-quality food no matter what when you go to Burger King. But I just had, a craving for some Burger King. And there's not one really close. The only one that's closest to me is the one on King Avenue. So I fucking went down there. And it was about what you'd expect. It was not, nothing to write home about. I wanted me a little bit of the king. I wanted to taste me some king. And I did. It was fine. Probably helped feel better this morning because I got a nice stomach full of greasy food. And I will say this. There is something about a Whopper. There's something about a Whopper that is just can't even explain. Like, as far as like it is not the highest quality of fast food burgers. And I think they're way better than McDonald's. I think McDonald's burgers are taste the most artificial. I would give it to Dairy Queen and Wendy's for the burger as far as quality goes. But there's just something in the taste of a Whopper that it just hits different. Burger King's fries suck. Burger King's chicken nuggets suck. But the Whopper just stands out. And I am the Burger King. Like, trust me, I know my burgers. I am the Burger King. Remember when I did the blind burger taste test? Didn't I nail all of them? Yeah, I'm the Burger King. But anyway, as I'm sitting there in line for this Burger King, and if you know this one, it's an older one. It's been around a long time. And I'm sitting at the pickup window. I already paid. I'm sitting at the pickup window for way too long. So I have plenty of time to observe what's going on the inside. They even kept the window open so I could hear everything that was going on in there. And it made me just realize there are two very different tiers of fast food restaurant. Okay? There's high quality, like not high quality, like I'm talking like quality of service, quality of cleanliness, quality of the food in general. It's like we're talking about on the fast food level, okay? So when I say quality, just know we're talking fast food level quality. And then there's this other group where it just feels like there's zero person in charge. Nobody's running the ship. There's like one or two people working at all because they get very little business. So you got one guy in the kitchen and one guy running the register and bagging the food and doing, like, one person running all of the front of house stuff and one person running all the back. So it's basically just the inmates running the asylum poorly, I might add. Completely, like, doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, confused as hell. Aloof would be a great word for it. Like, then you get, last night there was a random third guy that just appeared out of nowhere and is just on his phone. I'm like, guy, what? Help out. Like, who are you and what are you doing? They're wearing jeans. They were wearing jeans. So already the quality of, like, your presentation, your uniform is not up to standard. You can just see that it's like everything's very greasy and like not very well kept kind of a place. Even the lighting is a little bit dimmer at these types of restaurants. And I want you to think really fast about the ones I'm talking about. And I guarantee you we're thinking the same thing, okay? Number one, Burger King. Very much that. Burger King is very much, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of them, for sure, are this way. Hardee's. Hardee's is by far one of the worst when it comes to this. It's like you drive up and it's a dungeon inside. Like, I'm expecting a skeleton to hand me my food. And for, like, cockroaches to be crawling out of it. It is like it's like a fucking sewer system in there. It's so dark, it's so dingy, it's filthy. it honestly makes me question why I would ever eat at these places. But, yeah, I need to set some standards for myself. And the third one that comes to mind for me is Arby's. Arby's is another one that's like this. Taco John's. Taco John's for sure is also on this list. Not even a remote doubt about that. And then when you go to your higher quality, you're talking about your McDonald's, your Wendy's, Taco Bell even, Dairy Queen. Places where you go in, like, here's how you can tell the difference. You would never go inside of a Burger King and eat there. You would never go inside of a Taco Bell or a Taco John's and eat there. You only ever go through the drive-thru. Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, these are places that you are not concerned about eating on the inside. Like, you're cool with eating on the inside. Most likely you're going to go through the drive-thru either way, but you would eat on the inside of these restaurants. Also, nice uniform. You know, you're in uniform. There's multiple people working. It's a productive, everybody's moving at a good pace. The food is at a decent temperature. The food is definitely tastier. And the surface is just way better. And you're not all that concerned about cleanliness. You're pretty confident that those restaurants are up to standard with cleanliness. And it's night and day difference between those two types of fast food restaurants. There's this one whole category that is just top notch. You know what you're going to get. How about that? Like, if you go to a Burger King and the food is fantastic, you're surprised. You're shocked. You're like, I was not expecting this to be this good. Similarly, if you go to McDonald's and the food is under your standard, you're like, what the fuck? Because you can always go onto the back and being like, well, it's fast food. I mean, no. You expect McDonald's, you expect Taco Bell to have better quality. So when it's under your expectation, you're not happy. So that's the only upside to a place like Burger King or Arby's. And by the way, fuck Arby's. It's my least favorite fast food place ever. I will never eat there for the rest of my life. I got food poisoning from there twice. That was 15 years ago. Haven't eaten there since and never will. And I'll be just fine with that. Kind of wish I would just get food poisoning from all fast food places, so I just have to avoid them. That it would be like my conditioning method of making sure I will never eat fast food again. But I also hate food poisoning, so I don't want that. You are definitely more likely to get food poisoning at a Burger King, a Burger King, an Arby's, Taco John's. Those are definitely places you're going to get food poisoning. Now, while we're on the topic of fast food, I do also want to mention this. What happened to fast food restaurants? Like, I was thinking about it last night because, you get some nostalgia kicking in. God, don't you just miss, like, the play places in the McDonald's or the Burger Kings? I mean, I know they're disgusting. But there was just something about it. It was something like alive. I mean, you get the toy. There's, the smell of plastic and feet in the air as you're chomping down on your your almost cold nuggets. But it was just the best, wasn't it? The interior, remember the old school interior decor of like a McDonald's or a Taco Bell? The Taco Bell with that retro look, were they pastel colors? Yeah, kind of, right? The pastel-y colors. I'm talking like 90s, early 2000s style. McDonald's, man, they used to have like the way the roof was like almost like a Pizza Hut style roof. But now they're just like, fuck it looks like a cardboard box. it looks like a shipping container. You know, like there's no life to these restaurants anymore. You remember the Wendy's sunroom? Who couldn't forget a Wendy's sunroom? That was peak interior restaurant as far as fast food. I mean, do you remember the yellow cups of a Wendy's? You remember going into a Pizza Hut? Those red cups? You had like the stained glass light above your head. Honestly, the inside of a Pizza Hut was next level. It was just the best. I just hate, and maybe that's just me being an old man and being, nostalgic, but I hate what they've done. I hate the changes they've made. It saddens me. Especially when I looked into that restaurant last night and I was like, the fuck is going on around here? Why am I here? That's what I thought. I was like, why did I come here? Like, just because I had a little craving, I should have just said no to that and just went to Wendy's. I would have had way better food. But that Whopper, man. There is something about that Whopper. So, gotta discuss this, because it is big news. Yesterday we learned that the United States bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. And the second I heard that, I got a little chill up my spine. Because that is an act of aggression against a foreign country. They said they did not want us to intervene, and that our intervention would be met with war. So we're kind of in a wait and see situation right now, because we very much clearly chosen, we are siding with Israel. Knew that was going to happen. We have, Iran is aligned, I believe, with China and Russia, or one or the other. That's not good. We've poked the bear. And this was not what I was hoping was going to happen under this administration. We were promised no war, that we were going to end war, and now it seems as though we are pushing forward with war. Which leads me to believe that this was the plan all along. Like, this was always going to happen, no matter, this was just in the script, basically. Because that's how it always is, You get promised all these things, and then most of those things just never happen in the first place, and quite the opposite most of the time. Because it's always just going to be, this is what the script is, this is what we're going to do. Like, this was always the plan. So not cool. I'm not good with this. Like, again, it's a wait and see situation. I agree that Iran should not have nuclear weapons. I think our intervention in this and the way we went about it was not correct. And, with everything, we'll see, Maybe this was, maybe this was a huge deal thing that we just did, maybe for the better. It doesn't feel like it, but we'll see type of a situation. And of course, with all this happening, with all these conflicts and all this, when you talk about between Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Palestine, Iran, the United States, China, the tariffs, you got all this shit. You got the immigration stuff going on. All of that, there's so much conflict, and there's so much, it's just a lot going on. A lot of craziness going on, right? And as I said in the beginning of the show, that with all of that happening, it invites dispute. It invites debate. And I'm not a very political person, you know? Like, I know it's important. I know you have to have the discussions. You have to, like, be able to talk about this stuff. You should have an opinion in some capacity. And I do. But for the most part, I don't know enough about all this stuff to really, A, give a shit, and B, have a very intelligent conversation about it. You know what I mean? So therefore, I'm not the right guy to have a discussion about this stuff with. I can give you my thoughts and opinions, sure, but they're not going to necessarily be backed by a lot of education on this matter because that's not what I put my time and energy into. You see what I'm saying? So, Friday night. It was Friday night. We're out and about, and I'm hanging out with my brother. We're at the bar, and I don't remember exactly how the conversation led to it, but we started talking politics. Which, by the way, don't talk politics at the bar. It is not the place to talk about it. You're there to have fun. You're there to enjoy your time together. That's just always going to lead down the bad road. And that's exactly what I said. I told my brother, I said, let's just end this conversation right here. Let's not go any further with it. We know we're going to disagree on this. We know it's just going to end in argument or dispute. Wouldn't let it go. Wouldn't allow me to just kill the conversation. And then, of course, other people are starting to chime in, right? Because that's what happens. Everybody wants to get a piece of the pie. Everybody wants to give their opinion, and then that's just going to snowball into an even bigger debate and discussion and argument. And I knew this because I've had this happen many times. You know, there was not long ago me and this girl were having a regular conversation. And then politics starts getting brought up. I even said, let's not go there. This never ends well. Wouldn't let it go. And it didn't end well. To the point where the bartenders told me she was fucking crazy because she was calling me a fucking idiot and saying I was a piece of shit, basically. Like yelling at me. Because that's how far people are willing to take it. That's not having an open dialogue. That's not having a reasonable discussion. That's how a lot of this goes. And for me, I need to be better about just removing myself from the situation completely. Because as many times as I try to end the conversation or change the conversation to something else, once it continues to get brought up, especially when I've had a few drinks, it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut because I just end up getting involved as well. Like, I'm just as guilty of it. I try to stop it, but once it continues and it just seems like this train is running off the tracks, I'm like, well, fuck, if it's going off the tracks, I'm going to be the conductor. Let's fucking go. So now I'm in this conversation, and I'm not even a conversation. I'm in this argument to which there is no end of there's no... like, all of a sudden, I'm going to have a fucking epiphany and be like, you're right. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. Like, I'm going to convince my brother that whatever his beliefs or his opinions are false to him. No, that's not going to happen. And I don't expect it to happen. But then it just ends up becoming a big argument. And that's not fun for me. I don't enjoy arguing with people, especially about things that I'm not fully educated on. Like, if we're going to have a discussion about, football or sports of some kind that I'm very knowledgeable in, and if you're not giving me accurate information, am I going to turn to you and be like, well, you're a fucking idiot? No. You know what I mean? No. If you have a bad sports opinion that I don't agree with, if you're one of the guys that are like, LeBron's the best, Michael Jordan sucks, I'm not going to be like, well, you're a fucking idiot, and here's why. I'm just going to tell you why I disagree with you, and why I think it's the other way. I'm not going to be like, dude, you're fucking stupid. Like, you know what I mean? So, I think and politics does affect our daily lives a lot more So I understand everybody's, being so being so like strongly opinionated in all this stuff, because it does have real life effects on us. So I get that. It's just not something that I envelop myself with enough to where I want to even have these conversations. Because I don't know a lot of it. So I'm not going to engage in that. If you want to go have a political discussion with somebody who is well informed, please be my guest. Sounds horrible. Sounds like a shitty time, but by all means. But yeah, I mean, there were some names thrown around between me and my brother. We had a pretty heated discussion, and as at least men are able to do, the next day we apologized. We said, let bygones be bygones, and let's never do that again. Agreed. Hey, that's what I was trying to do in the first place, guy. But yes, we learned a lesson. We're solid. We're good. And the lesson here is, for one, just don't get into political conversations at the bar, the restaurant. Have those discussions in your private life. Don't do it in public. What the fuck was that? Oh, somebody's sawing outside. That was a weird sound. It was like... That is freaking me out. Anyway, I'm going to have to ignore it. There's a real high-pitched buzzing sound outside my house. Somebody's either sanding or sawing. Freaked me out for a minute. I thought fucking... I don't even know... At first I thought it was a siren, to be honest. Okay, anyway, sorry, back on track here. Don't have political discussions in public, because it invites other people to involve themselves, and you just end up looking like a fool because you're fighting in front of everybody. It's stupid. And then, of course, like I said, name calling and this, that, and the other. No, not good. Not good. Just get along. Agree to disagree, wash your hands of it, and move on. That's where I'm at. You know what I mean? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Let's just be friends, We can disagree on things. It's fine. It is okay. But we can also still get along with one another, even though we disagree on certain things. Because most people, I think, agree on more of the same than disagree. But we always want to highlight those disagreements and put those at the forefront, when there's probably plenty more that we actually do agree on. And you know what actually irritates me really bad is when people assume that I have certain opinions because I voted for Donald Trump, which is not true at all. In fact, throughout the conversation, I was agreeing with a lot of the things that I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that. Just because I voted for this guy doesn't mean he's doing everything I was hoping he was going to do. In fact, that's not been the case. I don't agree with the way that the immigration policy has been handled. I agree that we should have an immigration policy. I agree that we should have strong borders. I don't think we should be ripping children away from their families. I don't think that people who have lived here for 15 years and contributed to our country should just be immediately thrown back to wherever they originally came from. No. I initially was more on the side of, let's get criminals out of here. Let's get drugs out of here. Let's, potential terrorist threats. That's where you want to put your energy first. Yeah, let's solve this drug epidemic. Let's solve, the gang violence and things like that. Let's get that cleaned up. Let's not take a working man who's been, who raised a family here over the last 15 years and throw him into El Salvadorian prison. I'm not cool with that. So, just so everybody's clear, that's my opinion, and that's where I'm at. Doesn't mean that everything that Trump does, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's the guy. But everybody wants to assume that, and I hate that. Similar to I don't agree with what we did bombing Iran. I don't agree with our allegiance to Israel at the extent that it is based on some of the actions that Israel has taken. I don't agree. But everybody wants to assume that that's the case. And that's not true. That just frustrates me to no end. And I think that's where my anger comes out when it comes to these discussions, is when I'm telling you to your face what my actual thoughts and opinions are, and you just decide that that's not true? Well, what the fuck are we even talking about then? You've just decided everything about me then. I'm telling you from my own mouth my thoughts and opinions. And you're going to tell me that's not, like, I'm wrong? What the fuck is that? That makes no sense. So, it's just not worth... It's not worth getting in a fight with your friends or your family. It's not worth destroying relationships or making things uncomfortable. You know? What is that worth for anybody? Over fucking politics? Come on, man. Ultimately, in the end, we have no fucking control on this. I mean, you like to think you do. I know. And I would love to believe that as well. But it's just not the case. There are powers that be that have way more control than any president or any fucking politician, and especially any civilian has. Let's move on. I'm done talking about the fucking political shit. Just take that note into consideration. Don't be having these discussions out in public. Like, it's just not fucking worth it. You know what really sucks, though? Like, that aside, because that shit sucks too. But you know what else sucks? You ever had this? When you have a friend that you enjoy hanging out with, you enjoy spending time with, you guys click, you know, there's something that you guys are just, you know, you click, you have a friendship between the two of you, and you go out and hang out together, and then you get some other friends that come around, and you run into some other people, and all your other friends can't stand your one friend. That shit sucks. When you have a friend that everybody else does not like, for whatever reason, but you get along with them just fine, and you cannot really, like, I think for me, I can always understand why people don't like a certain person. Like, there's certain tendencies that people have that you're like, well, I can understand why you don't like that, or I can understand why this person irritates you because of this, but I just don't have that. Like, I don't, with whatever it is with this particular person, I don't feel that way. Like, I get along with them, we click, we have, you know, similar opinions, we get along on, you know, we have, maybe we're a fan of the same team type of situation, or, you know, we have things that connect us, and we can have good conversation, you know, things like that. But then you have these friends, you know, where everybody else just does not seem to like them for whatever reason, and they cannot get past it. And again, I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but, like, it just sucks that I have to, like, almost either choose who I'm going to hang out with because they're not getting along, or I have to, like, just always be playing the middleman and trying to, like, keep tensions low or keep everybody happy. That's an uncomfortable position to be in as well. You just got to kind of navigate it, I guess. You just either got to hang out with the one friend by themselves, or hang out with the other friends by themselves, or just be able to, like, I don't know. It's tough. It's just one of those things that, like, man, that sucks when that happens. I've had that happen a few times in my life, where it's just like, man, everybody just does not seem to get along with this guy, but I sure do. Like, whatever it is, like, that I have with this guy is great. Like, we're good. But nobody else seems to like him type situation, and I that just sucks. It happened recently, and I was just like, man, this is a fucking shitty situation. Like, I'm trying to defend my friend, like, they're a good guy, they're good, you know, like, yeah, they have some flaws, but, you know, don't we all type of situation, and my friends are just like, nah, this guy fucking sucks. I'm like, damn it, dude, like, man, you know, like, is it me? Am I just picking bad friends? Or do I have bad judgment and character? Like, I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. It is what it is. You know, you can still be friends with them. You gotta, like, keep them away from your other friends, I guess. Or just figure out how to hang out on separate nights kind of situation. I don't know. I had a bit of an old man moment the other day. And it's not just one thing, I guess. It's several things. Like, this is how I know I'm starting to get old. Besides other things like my back going out and, you know, thinking about the weather too much, talking politics too much. Those are all among the things of me getting older. But no. I had a moment where I realized there's so much about the younger generations, like the things they say, like their slang, that I'm like, what? I hate this. It's not even that I don't understand it. Like, I get it. I know what you're saying. But I think for me, I'm just like, stop saying that. Like, that's driving me crazy. Especially when it's like a trendy thing, you know, like Riz or, you know, Fade, things like that. I'm just like, bro, you're just saying that because you heard it on, you know, and that's every generation. You know what I mean? Like, there was plenty of things I'm sure that I said when I was a kid that the older generation was like, shut up. Like, what are you saying? So that's why I'm like, now I'm officially old, right? Because when I was a kid, all the things that we used to say we thought were so cool. And we were just following the trends and we were talking like our friends. But I'm sure the older generation was like, you sound like an idiot. And that's how I feel now. Let me give you a couple examples of things that I would love if the younger generation would just stop saying. And actually, you know what's... It's not the younger generation that irritates me. I actually am okay with them doing it because that's just what they're supposed to do. It's when adults start talking like that. That is what enrages me. Again, let me give you a couple examples. These are the ones that are the most prevalent lately that just drive me fucking crazy. Okay? First of all, no cap. I hate that. I hate that. That is so dumb. And when an adult says it, when they're like, you capping? Cap. Dude, you sound like a fucking idiot. I hate that word. I hate that usage of that word, the way that they use it. Next is, this one doesn't piss me off nearly as much. I think it just is being overused, is crashing out. I'm going to crash out. Like, oh, I'm crashing out, man. I'm crashing out. I don't hate that one as much. Like, the alliteration of it is fine. It's the overusage of it. People are overusing it. And that's why I don't like that. It's because you're just overusing it too much. Stop using it as much. I don't hate the terminology and the alliteration of it. It's the overusage. And finally, this one. There's something about it that makes my skin crawl. Because A, it is both overused, and B, it sounds stupid. When people start going, it's giving, like, oh, you're sure? It's giving, like, 90s vibes. It's giving, like Western culture vibes. Like, vibes. That one pisses me off a little bit too. But it's giving. It's giving a very salty taste. It's giving this texture of, like, somebody drinking wine. It's giving, like, a very oak taste. Stop that. Stop that right now. The it's giving thing needs to end. And honestly, of all the slang terms that have come out throughout the last couple years, the one I was most excited about, that I thought was hilarious and loved, never caught on. Like, nobody says it. And that is serving cunt. I fucking love that because it is just funny. It's a funny fucking way of saying that you're like hot, right? Is that what it means? It's like it means you're hot or that you're like you're vibing, I guess, is serving cunt. I can't even hardly say it without laughing. It's fucking funny. That one I liked and it never caught on. So that fucking sucks. All the shitty ones, all the dumb ones have to catch on. And you know what else irritates me? Is when somebody uses so many slang words in one sentence. You capping, fam, no vibe. I'm like, bro, I want to kill you. I want to stick my fucking hand in your mouth, pull your tongue out, and pour fucking hot coals on it. Like a fucking cartoon, and then let go and watch the tongue fucking flap up like a not an accordion, a fucking whatever. Roll up like a rug. There you go. I was thinking like a window shade. That's what I was thinking of. Let's see. What else we got on the docket here? Remember last week I was talking about sunburns and how badly I got sunburnt? Went to another baseball game in the middle of the day with a lot of sun out. But I was smart this time, and I applied, reapplied, and triple applied sunscreen. I was fucking coated in that shit. And the one thing that sucks about sunscreen is it's so greasy and like it feels gross and it smells bad. But let me just tell you, what is this witchcraft that is sunscreen? How the fuck does sunscreen work? For real. Like, it blows my mind to think we can just rub this lotion or, spray or whatever on our skin and somehow it just, it pushes the sun away. Like, what is this technology? In fact, we're going to go back to my good friend, Copilot AI, and ask them. And I figured out the voice module so you can actually hear them talk.
Hey, D-Crate Free.
How does sunscreen work?
Sunscreen works by absorbing all reflecting UV rays from the sun, protecting your skin from damage. There are two types of rays, UVA, which ages skin, and UVB, which burns it. Sunscreen acts like a shield against both, so it's a must-have for keeping your skin healthy.
What is it in sunscreen that causes it to deflect the sun?
Sunscreen uses ingredients like zinc oxide or titanium dioxide to physically block and reflect UV rays. These minerals sit on the skin's surface and act as a barrier. So, when the sun's
Okay, well, there you have it. The more you know, right? Hey, it's crazy. Like, I legitimately was like, how the fuck is this possible? Like, who thought of this? Like, who was like, I got it. Like, I found the ingredients to, it's zinc and whatever else that he said. That's unreal. It's magic. It's wizardry. I just thought that because I was like, we were out in the sun for a while. And I just was thinking to myself, how is this even possible that this is working? I even do have a decent, look at that shit. I'm actually kind of darkening up just a little bit. More than I usually do in the summertime. But I've also spent a lot more time in the sun than I normally would. So, that's part of it. Look, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but look at this. Yeah, you can. Fucking, that's a nice ass tan line on the leg there. More like a red line. It's not very tan. All right, let's wrap this thing up here. Couple of sports things I just want to talk about real quick before we end the show. First off, John Jones has officially retired from the UFC. We never got to see the John Jones versus Aspinall fight, which sucks. Was really hoping to see that. I am a little irritated with John Jones and the fact that he pretty much just held on to the belt as long as he could before he decided to retire, which seems like a real petty move to make Tom Aspinall wait just to not give him a fight. He's a legend of the sport. He has the right to retire whenever he wants. It just seemed a little bit petty, in my opinion, that that's the way he chose to go about it. Again, legend. He's fully allowed to do everything the way he wants to do it. He's potentially the greatest of all time. Never technically was defeated. Multiple time world champion. He's always going to have those blemishes on his career as far as like, you know, the substance abuse and the woman abuse allegations that happened, and just his time being away from the sport so much. It just sucks because of what could have been. But you know what? Happy retirement to John Jones, a legend. We can finally move on with this division, in the heavyweight division, which is great. And so just throwing that out as news that just broke yesterday, that John Jones was officially retiring from the UFC and that Tom Aspinall is now the undisputed heavyweight champion. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the next... Oh, and by the way, next week, that's going to be a great card. Let me just say this too. Next week, decent chance there won't be a podcast coming out next week because I will be in Denver. Me and Aaron are going down to Denver to see Metallica, which is badass. Pantera and Metallica with Suicidal Tendencies. That'll be sick. So we're leaving Friday, coming back Monday, late Monday. And then throughout the rest of the week, I really don't have a lot of time to get a podcast out. So there's probably it's almost a certainty that there won't be a podcast next week. So I'm just letting you know now. Probably going to take the week off next week, enjoy my vacation in Denver, and then I can tell you all about it the week after. So it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And I'm glad I was able to get one done this week, just because I knew next week was going to be even more difficult to get a podcast out. But the last bit of sports talk. Oh, yeah. The UFC fights next week are going to be badass. And we're going to be watching them down there as well. But the NBA Finals is wrapping up tonight as of recording this. And by the time this is out, we will know. We will have a brand new champion, a first-time champion ever between the Oklahoma City Thunder under the banner of Oklahoma City. I think they've won a championship as the Sonics, but never as the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this would be their first title, and it'll be Indiana's first title. It's what a series this has been. For all the talk of this potentially being one of the worst rated final series, and that these were two small market teams, it has been an absolute pleasure to watch. It has been barn burners. We've had blowouts. We've had, game-winning shots. We've had incredible comebacks. I'm looking very much forward to tonight's game. And I'm hoping, either way, let me just say this. Either way, congratulations to the new NBA champions. Hard fought throughout all the playoffs, and well-deserved either way, to be honest. Well-deserved either way. And they just hard-fought series for sure. Hard-fought series, and bringing your hometown its first championship in the NBA. So that's what I want to say. Congratulations either way. That stands true both ways. But I do hope that we're sitting here celebrating the Indiana Pacers as the new champions. That's not me being sour grapes over the Thunder. I promise you. I literally just would rather see Indiana win. But if Oklahoma does win, kudos to them. It's no hard feelings either way, and well-deserved. So congrats to the new NBA champions. And that's where we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining yet again. Remember, get along. Just get along. We're going to disagree. We're always going to have people that we disagree with, and that we're not going to see eye to eye on everything. You don't have to discuss it at all. If you do, be cordial. Have open dialogue, just have a real conversation. And don't have hurt feelings at the end. Don't try to hurt each other's feelings. Just get along. But really, if you can avoid it altogether, that's great too. Have those kind of discussions with strangers, not with your friends. How about that? Stop saying cap and it's giving. And don't eat at Burger King. Unless you're late night drunk. But most importantly, don't forget that life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep on keeping on.
Why don't you talk in the microphone? I got a back right here. Back of my. Got it. Life's a garden, dig it. You make it work.